when I started, 3 years of struggling, and then we were able to figure something out. We became a pretty good, like $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 business. And then it took us a few years to figure out how to be $1 million business. And then we were $1 million business with no growth for 4 years in a row. And I was like, well, obviously this isn't getting me to where I want to be. And I made some really big changes, and I rethought how I looked at the company. And suddenly we grow 50% or 60% in 1 year. And then I go, well, is that a fluke? And then I try to put that, and we put together a few more years of the same. So now I'm like, okay, I'm ready for the next one. But you have to push through the time where you're going to give up, where you're like, this is a mess. I've just made it messier. I haven't made my life simpler. But you push through, and then suddenly everything happens, and it all comes together, and you're like, cool, I'm a genius.
My ass is numb?
Yes,
That's the great lead for this one. Awesome. Yes, we caught it.
Been sitting for so long.
Good. Well, let's talk about staying motivated. Guys, this is a 10-part series we're doing with the legendary Mark Drager. He's built a $1 million+ business in the marketing agency space, and we're picking his brain. If this is your first video, go back and watch all 10 because they're awesome. This last one, we're talking about how to stay motivated as an entrepreneur. It's one of the things that I think everybody can learn from, whether you're in a marketing agency or not. It's one of the tougher things. You know, it's a lonely game, especially at the beginning when you're by yourself. You're trying to do this thing when people may not believe in you, when you have that voice saying, who are you kidding sometimes? How do you stay motivated? What do you do?
Gosh, I mean, this is going to sound like I'm really preaching to the choir.
Oh, no, I love it. Great.
I know. So truthfully, Evan, the work that you do, you know, your channel, your Espresso series, your One Word, there have been times, I think in August, I was like, man, I need more Evan in my life. Like, you know, listening to people who can connect with you on a regular basis. Like, you're asking me what I do.
Yeah.
You already have videos on this, so I can just repeat back to you. It's like, oh, every morning you need to start off by having a dose of something to pump you up.
Yeah.
You know, you need to create an environment where it feeds you and all of this stuff. And like, that stuff's all true.
Yeah, but your story, like, is interesting. It's a different perspective. It's somebody who's had success. People, there's a lot of people watching who want to build $1 million business, plus, you know, they see you, they may not know you yet, but like through this series, they've come to respect your opinions and see, like, he's a couple years ahead of me. Like, I want to get there. So you dealt with some frustrating points, especially in the beginning of your business, where most people would quit. Most people would not keep it through, keep going.
Yeah.
So like, what did you do to stay motivated in those early days? And then I guess even now, like, now you're watching videos, awesome. But like, how did those first early moments when you were struggling, how do you get through it?
So there was, for me, it wasn't the belief of what I could build. It was the, like, I really want to build a certain type of company.
Okay.
I saw what others were doing, and I knew that I couldn't do it.
Okay.
Like, I physically, like, you know, so we're in an industry where you need a lot of smart people doing a lot of things for the magic to come together. Okay. And the only way that I can do the type of work that I wanted to do, the quality that I would be proud of, and have the company that would produce work that I was proud of, was to bring on other people. And so, you know, early on, recognition certainly helped. You know, any work that I did, if someone was like, oh, that's a great project, great job, you know, client feedback, that feedback loop of, you know, of being able to bring a client in, certainly helped. But what kept me going is, one, knowing that I wanted to build a certain type of company, a hope that we would eventually get there. And you know, early staff is like, Mark, I've been waiting for 9 years for this company to come around. I'm like, we're still going to get there, guys. Yeah. So there's that, and then I really wanted to. I wanted to run and own a business, and
so what do you tell yourself though? Like, didn't you call your mom and say you wanted to quit, or like you were at your end of the rope?
Yeah, but I mean, so in the February 2009, maybe it was, whenever it was that I was thinking about packing it in. It just came down to, like, I will always kick myself if I said at the time, I should just give it one more chance. Okay. Because if I don't, I'll always, it wasn't that I would be a failure. I would kick myself and look back on this with regret. And I mean, that so much. Thank goodness that I did. I mean, like I have people who go like, I want the type of company you have, and I don't even know how we did it. Yeah. Right? Like, I can look back and piece it together, but it's year over year, step over step, a little bit bigger, a little bit, you know, I'm always worried about about how can we drive the most value, and like I'm always trying to analyze what do we actually do for clients, and what are people buying, and what are we selling, and all these things. So much so that I'm probably holding us back from just, years ago someone said, just find something you're good at and just do it 1,000 times. And I'm like, no, every project has to be different, and everything has to be custom, and I can't become a machine.
Yeah.
But mostly it's like I want to give this a shot. And then you hit a point. I was talking to a business owner who's in year 2, building a website agency, and he's at this point where he's just like, I don't have enough money to support the team I need, and I'm on this hamster wheel, and it feels like it's never going to end. You need the money to pay the team, you need the team to make the sales, you need the sales to have the money to pay for the team. And the only thing I could tell him, which is what happened for me, and it's happened in twice now, in 2 different versions of Phanta, is that it looks like it's impossible, and then just one day it's no longer impossible, and you didn't know when it changed. So in my house, I'm renovating in my backyard. I'm doing this really big project in my backyard, and so I have this dirt, like I have this bobcat, this skid steer that I have to move dirt to make a patio. And right now it starts hilly. Okay. And this summer was really weird. I was in there, and I have this shovel and this skid steer, and I'm trying to make it smooth with this really big machine. And the more I work it, the less smooth it is, and the more bumpy it is. And I'm at the point where I'm like frustrated. It's like 6 hours in, and I'm like broken down, and I'm just like, I feel like I want to cry, because I'm never going to be able to do this. Yeah. And then like 20 minutes later, I just looked around and everything was smooth. Okay. And I went, that's weird. And then a few days later, I'm working on something else, and I hit that point where I'm getting really frustrated. I said, no, let me push through this. Okay. Let me push through this. And then half an hour later, everything's smooth. Okay. And a few days later, I'm working on my wife's car, and I'm trying to hammer this broken thing off, and it won't come off. And I'm frustrated, and I'm like, I'm never going to get through this. And then finally, I take this really big hammer, and I'm like, well, this thing has to come off. And I just hammer the heck out of it. And I spent 2 hours trying to hammer this thing off. I hammer the heck out of it. It comes off. Okay. 10 minutes later, I put it all back together, and what seemed hopeless. Yeah. Right. I just beat the crap out of it. Right. But and then 10 minutes later, it's all together and it's there.
That's the piece that most people miss.
And that's what happens in business. Yeah. Is like you're trying, you're in the hamster wheel, and then one break happens, or you get a little bit more revenue on one project. You're like, I'm going to apply this to this, or you push through, and when you're about to give up, you wait, and then the call comes, and you get the project to go ahead. And suddenly that one thing, hammering extra hard and putting the extra effort in, and it comes off, and then 10 minutes later it's done. Like in life, things turn really fast. And so this guy who's 2 years into his web building business, who doesn't have a team, and doesn't have anything, I'm like, don't stop, keep going, right? Keep going, because suddenly you're going to get a project, and that's going to let you hire one person, which is suddenly going to snowball into now selling 3 more, which snowballs into hiring 2 or 3 more people. And in like a year and a half, you spent all this time struggling, and then suddenly you have a $500,000 business, or $1 million business, or whatever it is. And so when I started, 3 years of struggling, and then we were able to figure something out, and we became a pretty good like $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 business. And then it took us a few years to figure out how to be $1 million business. And then we were a $1 million business with no growth for 4 years in a row. And I was like, well, obviously this isn't getting me to where I want to be. And I made some really big changes, and I rethought how I looked at the company. And suddenly we grow 50% or 60% in 1 year. And then I go, well, is that a fluke? And then I try to put that, and we put together a few more years of the same. So now I'm like, okay, I'm ready for the next one. But you have to push through the time where you're going to give up, where you're like, this is a mess. I've just made it messier. I haven't made my life simpler. But you push through, and then suddenly everything happens, and it all comes together, and you're like, cool, I'm a genius. Right. And people pat you on the back, but meanwhile you didn't believe you could do it.
And it's everybody's, not everybody, it's a lot of people's story. The hardest part is just getting up and doing the thing every day and pushing through when it feels hopeless.
I just didn't feel like I had a choice.
Because of regret?
Regret. I'm the sole breadwinner. First it was like I start my company.
But you could have got a job. You could have gone back and got a job. If it's just you would have made more money at a job than doing this.
I'd make more money at a job right now.
It's okay, but it's not just, but you have a choice there, in that if it's just being a breadwinner, you can make money doing a job. If it's the regret of, I don't want to look back in 50 years and say, like, I missed my shot.
Yeah, but it was also at the time me not realizing that it's okay to fail, right? Like now that I've done this, like if this all disappears, I'm like, cool, what's next? Like seriously, I have a great team, and I'm like, great. How can I save the team and bring them with me wherever I'm going?
Yeah, your identity was tied to the Which you think that saved it?
I'm glad I didn't give up.
Yeah.
But
you think it would?
But more important today.
Yeah.
More important today is actually me giving up, right? Because truthfully, it's like we have. So I've been doing this for 12 years. I have a comfortable income. It's not where I want it to be. I don't know if anyone's income ever is, but it's a comfortable income. I've got a good team. When days are hard now, I go, why am I doing this? Like I built up this company and I'm doing all this stuff. Do I really need this? It's like, I don't know if that's ego.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's getting tired because it's like you don't want to burn out or whatever it is. But it's not actually when you're sitting there with nothing, spinning your wheels at the end of the day and going, like you're sitting there and you're drinking a glass of wine or you're crying and you're confessing to someone that you feel like a failure. I feel like you push through that. The bigger enemy are the days or the weeks or the months where you go into work and you don't want to go into work because it's just not fun anymore. Where did that magic go? And for that, I've kind of taken comfort in saying like, hey, if you have a bunch of those days or weeks or months in a row, then change your business. Like you're in the wrong business. You don't have to sell it. You don't have to get out. Like your business is a vehicle that you should be able to take anywhere you want. If next year you check on this video and Phanta's become an electrical engineering company or something, it's like, cool, here I am, the expert at running an electrical contracting company or whatever it is, because that's what I'm interested in now. Now, I'm not going to like do that to my team. I owe it to them to keep going the direction and my clients. But yeah, I mean, like this can come, this can go. All I know is that I'm building something, I'm bringing great people on, and I want to hold on to those people wherever this takes us.
Yep. And how about now? Staying motivated, doing what you're doing. I mean, you said you watch videos, what I'm doing, that kind of stuff. But
yeah, so I think it's really, really important to listen to things outside of the field you're in.
Okay.
So being able to better shape and things of interest, right?
Okay.
So I think people talk about like, hey, entrepreneurs say, you got to work out and take care of your body because if you don't take care of your body, you can't do anything else.
Yeah.
I think people in their 40s and 50s hit that page where they're mature enough to say, you got to do it. I still don't quite take care of my body as well. I'll worry about that later.
Right.
But I have hit the part of my life where I'm like, it's important to be a well-rounded person.
Okay.
And when I was younger, it was more like focus on work, focus on work, focus on work.
And the well-roundedness keeps you motivated to still be an entrepreneur and push forward?
Yeah.
So like what changed? What's something you do that you didn't do before?
That's a great question. What's something I do that I didn't do before?
It's the first time in 10 episodes that I said that's a great question. Actually, no, in episode one.
In episode one,
he said it's a great question. When I asked you 3 questions, and now episode 10, we have another great question.
You've been phoning it in the rest of the time.
All right, good. That's interesting, because I heard the expression mailed it in.
Yeah, you can phone it in or mail it in.
But they're both forms of communication.
Yeah, it's basically you just didn't show up.
Interesting.
So anyway.
Okay, yes. What was my great question?
So
what did you do differently in the past year or so that you weren't doing before? Yes.
Yeah. So quite often I don't take my laptop home with me.
Okay.
At night.
So that you can what? Spend more time with the kids? Mark's got 1,000 kids, by the way. You started with a 3-month-old.
Yeah, Rachel. She's 12 now.
And now you've got
4
6?
Kids. 4 kids.
Why did I think you had 6
kids?
Why did I feel you had 6? Okay.
4 kids.
That's not that bad, actually. 4 kids.
Yeah, 4 kids.
This is a lot, but you're still young for 4 kids.
Yeah, I'm 35.
Yeah.
4 kids.
Yeah.
So so what do I do?
You don't take the laptop home and
I don't take the laptop home with me, which means when I get home, it's like dinner, it's family time, it's put the kids to bed, it's do the dishes, it's walk the dog, it's make the kids lunches. Which actually means that like at 9 o'clock, when I'm like, I've done all my stuff, I'm not tempted to sit down and work till 1 or 2 a.m.
Okay, so what's 9 to bedtime?
Just whatever the heck
Veg
I want.
out, like Netflix or...
follow a lot of people on YouTube.
Okay.
Read a lot, like not books, but I go down rabbit holes.
Okay.
Research stuff. I mean, I'll blue sky. I'll still think about work.
Okay.
But I'm not on my laptop, which means it actually like limits me to like just like it limits me to like I'm not getting into work mode because when I'm in work mode,
right.
And I still have to do it sometimes, but it will literally be 1 or 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'll be like looking up. I'll be like, oh, and then I'll look down at my calendar because I track everything in 15-minute increments. And I'll be like, oh, I started this at 6:15. I've just been working for 7 extra hours on this one thing. And so it's slowed me down a little bit, but I don't know if that's a bad thing. I make an effort to come into work earlier in the morning, so I can give myself permission not to work late at night, because I'm going to come in before work actually starts in the morning and catch up.
What time do you get in?
I try to get in between 7 and 8. If I need to, I'll come in at like 6.
Yep.
But
it sounds to me like you're spending your evening time kind of taking in the world.
It's the only time of my day and my weekends where I can do whatever I want. So maybe if you're single. So if I were single, I would be tempted to work all the time. I would work all the time on everything. I would get up in the morning, I would work, I would go home, I would go to bed. Yeah. Luckily, I have a wife and kids who demand me to socialize. Right. So at least it forces me to do that. On the weekends, I very rarely answer emails, or now I still monitor them, but I very rarely answer emails. And for the first time in the summertime when I took a week off, I didn't look at my phone at all during the day.
But that extra time that you're spending at night is not like, I'm just going to shut off the world and watch 18 hours of Simpsons, or not 18 hours, but like Simpsons repeats.
It can be if I feel I want to do that. Okay. You know, if I feel like I just want to like.
But do you feel like you need to shut off the world?
I'm an introvert. Okay. Like I need time to like recoup. Yeah. Trust me, man. Tonight I'm going to need time to recoup.
We filmed all 10 in one day, in one sitting.
Of course, they see us sitting wearing the same stuff.
We got up and went to the washroom, ate shawarma and stuff.
But you know, like going. Oh man, getting the dog. Like, gosh, she's a pain in the butt.
And the lawnmower.
Forcing me to. Oh, dude, my lawnmower. I love it. Yeah,
Why do you love the lawnmower? It takes him an hour to cut the grass every weekend.
3 hours?
3 hours. 3 hours? I thought it was one.
No.
Wow, you have
on a half acre.
Giant property. Okay.
Yeah.
So 3 hours to cut. But why is it your favorite part of the weekend?
Oh, because it's like it's a little bit reduced because I've admitted this too many times, so my wife now knows what the deal is.
Now it's on camera.
But I put music on. I put my headphones on. I go out and cut the grass. And it's not a time where I have to be a father. It's not a time where I have to be a business owner. It's not a time where anyone's calling me. It's literally like, well, I got to cut the grass. It's growing. Right. And
I thought you did podcasts.
Yeah, I'll listen to podcasts.
Okay.
I'll listen to podcasts 1.5 times, so that way it's extra efficient.
Right.
Or
that's fast. People 1.5 times. Could you listen to my book 1.5 speed? Really?
I listen to Ben Shapiro sometimes at 1.5 speed. Have you ever
heard
that talk?
Yeah, you got it. I have a hard time at 1.25, but I'm also not an auditory learner. It's the hardest one for me, so I have to slow it down. Anyway. Yeah. So you listen to music, listen to podcasts for 3 hours every weekend. It's your ritual.
Yeah, in the summertime, sometimes the grass stops growing. But
how do you deal with the winter when it's snow?
I go snowblow.
Okay.
I have a long driveway.
Or rake the leaves.
It takes me an hour and 10 minutes to snowblow.
Okay.
Now that one's less fun, I have to say. If you're out on a beautiful sunny day cutting your lawn, and you see the green, it's my lawnmower's pretty like I get the headphones on. That's amazing. Yeah. Snowblowing's not. Shoveling, it's not that much fun. Right. But it's still like, I gotta go out.
Something.
I gotta go out and get outside
Nature,
and
physical.
do my stuff. But walk the dog or do even I enjoy doing the dishes. I mean, I don't really. Yeah. But I like that it forces me to stand there. Yeah. And think or watch something or learn something.
What are you usually doing when you watch my videos, or do I want to know?
What do you think I'm doing?
Well, I don't know. I'm just kidding.
So, I mean, your videos. I mean. Typically, I'm watching the stuff early in the morning. Okay. So it's
morning routine.
Yeah. So it's either like as soon as I wake up, the only thing that can wake me up is to start reading. Like if I don't grab my phone and start just trying to get my eyes onto the phone, like I will go back to sleep.
Reading email, reading a story,
and anything.
Okay.
Anything to literally force that light into my eyes because I am getting up early and otherwise, I will be very tempted. Or if I have a meeting, then I have to get up. Right. I got to be downtown in an hour and 15 minutes or whatever it is.
Right, you rush.
But otherwise, like literally, I'll be like, I don't have to come into work at 7 a.m. Right. Because I don't have to. I can come in at 9. Yeah. Or I can come in at 10. Right. Who's going to say what? Okay. Right. So
you read on the phone.
I read on the phone. That's when I will pop in. Sometimes I get up before your 5:35 email goes out or whatever.
Oh, the Confidence 254. Okay.
254, great series. Everyone should look at it. Yeah. But so I do that, and otherwise it's like in between like brushing my teeth in the shower, or although I mean I don't know how detailed we want to get here. I do brush my teeth in the shower because it's a great way to save time.
I'm with Mark naked in the shower.
I don't watch your videos naked in the shower. No.
Okay, I'm not with Mark naked in the shower.
The other thing I do is because I get up and I get out the door quick and I grab a coffee on my way in. I have like about a 45 minute drive into the office here, which is great. There's no traffic or anything. Yeah. The other thing I do is when I get here, I find no matter how energized I was when I woke up, it's like
you lost
an hour and a half later.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And so, or an hour and 15 or whatever it is. So sometimes I find as soon as I get into the office, I just open it up and just force myself to watch something.
What do you watch?
Or I put on
something any of the videos?
Something from you, or I put on music, and it's like
dancing in the office.
And I like to close the door if someone's here or whatever it is. But it's like I need
get naked in the office and
get naked in the office.
Such a big window on this side. He doesn't do that.
Random.
We'll stalk Mark and see what happens.
I don't think anything I do is really that extraordinary. But what drives me crazy is people who waste time when they come in.
Right.
Not my staff. I mean, even for myself.
General,
like to walk in the door and chit chat and make a coffee and talk. No, like come to work, sit down and start working.
Okay.
And then you can look up an hour or two later and go like, oh, hey, it's whatever time it is, or sometimes I forget to eat lunch or whatever it is. But
final message to someone who's feeling unmotivated. They're watching this. They're thinking about quitting their business.
Yeah.
You know, they wanted to learn something in this series. They clicked on the title. You know, they might, based off of your answer, quit or not quit.
Yeah, it's tough.
What do you want to tell them?
It's tough. I would say that it's never easy, but and it's not always rewarding. But when you stop back and you look at what you're doing, if you have a purpose, if you know your one word, if you're focusing on momentum and not the little bumps along the way, that it will be worth it to push through, right? It's never, I have a friend who's starting a business who I was talking to, and he's just like, oh, I just can't wait for things to smooth out. I'm like, never happens, right? So there are things you must love when things are clicking. Try to work for that magical moment, right? Like try to get to the place where you're like, yes, this is really working. And then don't try to just hold on to that, like keep growing and keep building off that, but find that in the little things you're doing, right? Like I'm a perfectionist. Other people might be. I get down on myself. I know lots of other people get down on what they're doing. It always seems broken. Nobody has this figured out, right? You know, you work with some of the CEOs in the biggest companies. They don't have this figured out. Right? And so just know that we're all, you know, we said at lunch, we're all walking the same path. We're all going the same direction. Some people are ahead and some people are behind. Some people leapfrog. And just stay with it if you have a passion and you believe you can do it.
Love it. Mark Drager, ladies and gentlemen. This is a 10-part series. Hopefully you've enjoyed all the way through. This is a test for me. This is the first one. I wanted Mark to be number one because I have so much respect for his advice and wisdom. You cheering for yourself?
I don't know. Is that what
pointing somewhere? I'd love to know your thoughts on the series. Let me know in the comments. If you loved it, you hated it, think it's the best of all time, the worst garbage you've ever seen. Wow. Let me know. Leave it in the comments. For people who want to find out more about you, where are they going? What's the best path to reach out?
They can find us on Instagram, Life@Phanta.
Okay, we'll link that up.
They can email me directly, mark@phanta.com. They can find our website, phanta.com.
Perfect. And if you guys want to watch the whole series from the beginning, if you haven't seen it, you should. Go click on video number 1. We'll see you there. Thanks, Mark. Good work, man. What?
It's a weak high five. There you go.